Hey guys, welcome back. This is the Legalize Stalling Podcast, episode 5, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, yeah, and we're back. We apologize again about the late episode last week, but you know we're running it right back. We got a big week ahead of us. The U.S. Open going down in Vegas. Yeah, what do you think, Crespo?
Yeah, big week. Sets guys up well for World Team Trials later on this year. Open's always pretty fun. This year it's pretty loaded. A lot of new storylines this year, with guys changing weights, and 74 is a big one. Not going to be Dake or Burrows this year, which is the first time since
Like 2010.
2011 off the top of my head, something like that. It's been a long time, obviously. Yeah, do you want to go through it by weight order? Do you want to just jump into our favorite? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I say we just do weight order. Starting out, I guess, at 57. We kind of touched on this before we started the podcast, but yeah, it's definitely one of the weaker weights across the board. So the seeds are number 1, Luke Lilladal. Number 2, Daniel DeShazer. Number 3, Liam Cronin. Number 4, Brandon Courtney. Number 5, Dom Munaretto. 6, Sheldon Seymour. 7, Caleb Smith. And 8, Nico Provo. Obviously, you know, just at first glance, it seems like Lilladal is probably the heavy favorite, especially since it seems like I feel like he's more well versed in freestyle, right?
I would say so. I mean, slouch and folk, obviously either, but I would say so. I think I said this on a previous podcast. I think Lilladal is probably the second best American we have at 57 kilograms. I don't outside of Spencer Lee. I would probably pick him over any other guy we have in the country. But I mean, all these guys are good too. To be fair, I wouldn't be too shocked if Lilladal lost. I think he's a clear favorite, but I mean, DeShazer's been around forever. I mean, he's got some good wins. Cronin, older guy. I mean, he's got solid wins. Brandon Courtney's made an NCAA final before. I mean, these guys are tough. Sheldon Seymour beat him a month ago, So, yeah, Lilladal's clear favorite. I think he's a 2-time world champ, I believe, age level. I want to say 1 at U17, 1 at U20 off the top of my head. Yeah, we'll see who wins it. My prediction would be Lilladal, but like I said, I think somebody could beat him. Somebody could knock him off.
Yeah, definitely possible. I guess if I'm looking at these seeds, if I had to guess who he'd be in the final with, probably DeShazer is good, but I mean, as we saw the last couple of years, Cronin was in college. I mean, he's like capable of a lot.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, he could jump in there too. So, definitely interesting. Do you want to just jump into 61?
Yeah, 57 is just not as exciting as a lot of these others. Not to hate on these guys, but some of these other weights are just loaded. And I would say 61 is the toughest, maybe one of them. One of the most interesting for sure. You want me to run through the seeds?
Sure.
Yeah, we got number 1, Marcus Blaze, high school senior, headed to Penn State next year. Number 2, Dayton Fix at Okie State. Number 3, Nashawn Garrett. He's at Lehigh now, former Cornell wrestler. Seth Gross at 4. Austin DeSanto at 5. Jax Forrest at 6, another high schooler in there. Number 7, Nico Megaludis, guy that's been around forever. And number 8, Nathan Tomasello. What do you think?
I think at first glance, there's going to be 2 high schoolers in the finals.
You ready to make that prediction already? Okay. I mean, I think Blaze is going to be in the final. I'd agree. And no doubt Forrest can do it. I'm trying to think of how this bracket looks.
Although it would be interesting if Jax ran into Dayton Fix, because Dayton's training in Stillwater, and you got to think Jax has spent some time there already.
Well, I think they have they go way back. I think Dayton and Jax have been training together forever.
Oh.
So I think they've been training partners previously for quite some time now. Definitely interesting. He's registered under Cowboy RTC, so like, what do you think happens if they do wrestle? Like, do you got a guy in each corner? You just let them go out there with no coach? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a guy in each corner, right? I mean, it's not like a college. It's not like a college team. These guys are well, I don't know. It is a little different, right?
Do you remember the Tony Ramos Dan Dennis scenario from the Olympic trials? I think 2016.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably 16.
Yeah, and Ramos was super upset that they cornered Dennis and not him, or somebody. One of the brands was in the wrong corner that he thought he was supposed to be in, and he came out in the press conference afterwards and was like, "I feel betrayed by this program." And so I don't know. Not to say that that's going to happen with Hokie State, but like those things can happen if you I don't know, maneuver these scenarios the wrong way.
Man, come to think of it, 2016 had a wild trials. A
Yeah.
wild trials. Because Dan Dennis was like a total dark horse, wasn't he?
Yes. I don't know where.
Yeah. And then I was just explaining this to my brother in law, and my dad actually just wanted a little update on it or a recap. So, obviously, for those that don't know, I'm a huge MMA fan. I watch a lot. And Aaron Pico just recently got signed by the UFC. I don't think he has a fight lined up yet. There's some names that are getting tossed around, but obviously Aaron Pico was the man in 2016. Like he was. I basically my brother-in-law was like, so you know how was he as a as a wrestler? And I was like, in 2016 he was a senior in high school. He was 18 years old, and I was basically like he was like the Bo Bassett of 2016. So like same NIL valuation. You know, if NIL would have been around back then, like Pico would have been making millions of dollars from these colleges, which may have changed his whole trajectory. You never know. But um, but yeah, I'm excited to see how he does in the UFC. But Aaron Pico went on a crazy run at that Olympic team trials. Actually, I think he was the favorite in the finals, but Molinaro ended up beating him. Correct?
Yes, correct. I got a couple things to add to that Pico situation. One, if anybody wants to know like how good Aaron Pico was at wrestling, this is a guy that was bonus pointing Zane Rutherford regularly in high school. So if that like puts it in perspective, again made the Olympic team finals. So I actually heard some backstory on that. Apparently, that Olympic trials finals was the reason he quit wrestling because he lost on criteria and he was upset that like basically the wrestling has a rule set where you can lose a tie match, and he was upset that like in fighting you don't usually lose on something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And another thing, speaking of NIL evaluation, as soon as he dropped out of high school or whatever announcement he made to basically say I'm not wrestling in college, Nike signed him. He was like sponsored by Nike as a high school wrestler. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was some NIL money that hypothetically would have been going his way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he jumped into the fighting a little too quickly, to be honest with you.
I think he got thrown into the fire a little too quickly. Not,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like training, I think was right, but and fighting better than I do. But looking at his results, it looks like they gave him some hammers right away, and it kind of shocked him.
Yeah, well, and obviously, okay, we're kind of off on like an MMA tangent now, but obviously in a fight, anything can happen. Like anybody can knock out anyone, and I think in like his second or third fight, he got slept.
Yeah,
It's like it's obviously not. I mean, he was like 19 years old at the time, so it's not like the end of the world. But like that sets you back.
yeah,
The promotions like kind of see that, and they're like, well, but it's just it's wild because I told my brother-in-law, I go, yeah, he's been fighting for like 10 years, and he's like my age.
yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So, anyway, yeah. So, I guess back to 61 kilos. You know, Seth Gross looked great when I saw him wrestle DeSanto.
Hmm.
Megaludis has always been around. Tomasello, again. I think he actually wrestled Jax at that last chance last year in the final. And I don't know. Who knows? Like, these guys are being these guys are like the highest level athletes in wrestling, you know, and you got to think like someone like Tomasello might be able to make adjustments if he runs into someone like Jax again. So it is kind of all up in the air. I would say, just again looking at it right now, I would take Marcus Blaze to win it.
I'd agree. I'd take Marcus Blaze. Out of the two high schoolers, both of them obviously super capable, very good. Both could win the bracket, I think. But I do think Jack's style is favorable to take some losses more than Blaze's is. Blaze is a lot more solid. You don't see Blaze give up a lot of takedowns or exposure, whereas like Jax has these 14-8 matches. You know what I mean? Where he's okay with giving up some to go get some, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? A little more risky. Like you said, I think somebody could flip the script on him, like Tomasello, if they match up, I guess.
He's like the type to he'll give up 2 to go get 4, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, I mean, you watch Blaze, a lot of his matches are 3-1, 2-1, 2-0. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a dominant guy, no doubt. But when he wrestles these tough guys, it's not usually high scoring matches. I would say Marcus Blaze is my pick to win it. I'm gonna go against you though. I think Dayton Fix is gonna make the final. Jax Force is gonna have to beat Nashon Garrett in the quarter, the 3 seed, who I think he can beat. And then Dayton Fix will probably get Nico Megaludis in the quarter. He'll probably beat him. Yeah, I think Dayton will beat Jax in the semi.
Okay. All right. Maybe we could play some bets.
Yeah, we could do something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We could, you know what we could do? We could run through all these weights, and then at the end of the cast, we could do a draft and just take a guy for each weight.
Sure.
All right.
Flip a coin.
Yeah, for sure.
You have a coin on you? I think I have one.
I got a Zin can.
All right, 65 kilos.
Yeah, 65.
I'll run through it. You got Joey McKenna at the 1, who's now Cowboy RTC.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I knew he was working out there. I didn't know he actually officially made the switch. That's cool. And then you got Jesse Mendez at Ohio State. Bo Bartlett, who's still at Nittany Lion, at 3. Real Woods is at 4. He's at Cliff Keen now, up in Ann Arbor. Aiden Valencia, who is just wrapped up his freshman year at Stanford, correct?
Yep.
Josh Coderhont, Navy, at 6. Carter Young at 7, another Cowboy. And then Vince Cornella at 8, who is Cornell, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, again, I guess just at first glance, I got to go with my region boy. And especially Jesse coming off of 2 national titles now. I think that he's probably in the best mindset right now going into something like this. Joey McKenna and him split matches at the Olympic team trials back in basically a year ago in April of 24. But, you know, one of them was like first round, I think. Jesse beat him and then kind of went on a run. And then on the backside for 3rd place, Joey McKenna ended up beating him. And then I guess, you know, you got Bo Bartlett in there who's, you know, it'd be actually really cool. The 2 and the 3, it'd be really cool to see them wrestle again.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Have you seen Jesse lately? In the last month?
No.
Personally? No. I wanted to ask if he's healthy. Because if he's healthy, he's probably my pick too. But at the same time, Bartlett does beat him a lot when it doesn't matter. Obviously it matters. You get what I'm saying though? Like, this isn't the world team trial. It wouldn't be the craziest thing if Bo Bartlett wins this and then Jesse goes and makes the world team. That would be kind of on script for how things have gone.
That's true.
I think freestyle favors Bartlett. I think he's better in freestyle than he is folk. But I think McKenna too could win it. Do you know, was McKenna ever at Ohio State with Jesse?
I don't think so, because prior to him being at Oklahoma State, he was at Penn, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he went there very close after he graduated, which was probably 19. So yeah, they probably never crossed. I mean, they probably rolled together at some point, but
Okay.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I think it's a clear top three. Maybe drops off a little to 4 at Real Woods, but Real Woods is damn good too. Training to Cliff Keen, he's got a lot of good partners.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you can keep finishing out the list. I'll come back to it.
Yeah, I feel like that top three is like a clear tier of, I would say, contenders. I think Real Woods is the clear fourth best. Aiden Valencia is pretty good in freestyle. Younger guy. Coder Hand's damn good. I mean, Carter Young is really good. I mean, all these guys are good, but I feel like there's a clear drop off after 4 again, and then those 5 through 8 seed are kind of in their own tier as well.
Yeah, so it's like 1 through 3, and then 4. Like Real Woods is like kind of on the cusp.
Yeah, he's like on an island by himself.
And then 5 through 8 are kind of like the third tier.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say Joey McKenna is kind of an anomaly. I mean, this is a guy who I believe last year, so in 2024, I can't remember where they wrestled, but he tech-falled Seabass.
It was I think it was at one of those ranking events, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. And then Seabass goes on to be Olympic bronze.
Seabass is just a gamer, bro.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I am a huge Seabass fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, Joey McKenna is clearly good enough to go with those guys, those top guys. You know,
all day.
And, we've said. I feel like we've said it once every time we've been on a podcast. Time in this sport is not your friend. So I hope he can get it done if he has it in him. But again, I got to root for my boy Jesse. So I don't know.
That's your pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jesse at 65.
You got a finalist you got to be in?
He's the 2. He's got to beat Bill Bartlett. Probably Joey McKenna.
Okay. I'll probably regret this because every time I pick against him, I am wrong. But give me Bo Bartlett. Give me Bo Bartlett over McKenna. That's my pick.
Okay. So you got Bo Bartlett beating Jesse in the semi and then winning it in the finals against.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to 70. Actually, I think 70 is almost as interesting as 65 or 61.
Yeah. Let me touch on this real quick. I think a big story between the two is Yanni going up. It would have been fun to see him at 65 wrestle with those guys, but it's going to be pretty fun to watch him wrestle these guys too. You want me to run through it?
Yeah.
She got the 1 seed, James Green, guy that's been around forever, training in Nebraska, wrestled in Nebraska. Yanni, still training at Cornell. He's a 2 seed. Number 3, Alec Pantaleo, another guy been around forever. Still at Cliff Keen, wrestled at Michigan back in the day. 4 seed, Will Wan, another Michigan guy. Cliff Keen again. Number 5, Yaya Thomas. He's out in New Jersey RTC now. I wasn't aware of that. Wrestled at Northwestern in college. Bryce Andonian, Virginia Tech guy, still training out there. Daniel Cardenas at 70 kilograms. Stanford guy training at Stanford. Let me touch on that real quick. I heard there's rumors that he may go in the portal.
Did he redshirt this year?
Yeah. I heard that he may go in the portal this year, or he may finish his last year at Stanford and then go in as like a grad transfer the next year.
Why did he redshirt?
I'm not sure. Because I don't think it was medical. I think it was just like a normal.
They must be playing chess over there at Stanford.
Yeah, I don't know. And then 8 seed, sorry to leave you out, Doug Zapp from Penn.
Yeah, Doug Zapp, who I think he is like consistently placing at tournaments like this. You know, he's a solid kid.
Yeah, I think he made a world team a couple years ago, U23 maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Also, I want to give a shout out to the 5 seed, Yaya Thomas. He's a Mount Carmel guy. Went to high school with him. And his dad hooked me up with Big Ten tickets. That's how we got to go. So that was cool.
His dad's a good follow on Twitter.
Yeah, he is a good follow.
Yep.
So I guess at first glance, we should probably just name it the podcast. At first glance with Spo and Tucker. I guess I got I'm gonna go with Yanni. I think that the jump to 70 is gonna help him more than anyone knows. Because we talked about it a little bit on one of these pods, but he's his frame is just huge, and I think that the weight cut to 65 might have been a little too much, and I think 70 is where he's gonna just slide right in and do really well.
Yeah, he'd be my pick too if I knew he was 100% healthy. I'm gonna guess he is. Hope that he is. I'll pick him as well. But if he's not healthy, if his knee's a little dinged up or something, I would take James Green. Can't count him out ever. We say time is your enemy in this sport, but James Green is killing it still. Always has been. Probably not at his peak as he was. Like, he's not in his prime necessarily anymore, but I still think this is a guy that could probably go get a bronze for us at the Worlds. Done it a lot before. Probably do it again. Pantaleo is a very capable guy too. I would say those are my three contenders realistically. Will Lewan's going to wrestle a close match with anybody, which means he can probably beat anybody. You know what I mean? If you're in a 1-point match, anything can happen. Yaya's tough. Shoot, if Andonian's on, I mean, he can make a run. We know how good he is when he's on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me Yanni. I'd like to see that gamer Yanni come back where he just wins, man. He just close matches, overtime, doesn't matter. He finds a way to win like he was in college. At that time, I thought Olympic gold in 2021. Like when Yanni was in college, I thought he was going to be an Olympic gold medalist right away. Hasn't really worked out because of injuries, but hopefully, like you said, this 70 maybe is the change that he needs. 70 kilograms.
Yeah, I think he was a world silver medalist 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, 65. He was still in college, I believe, when he did that.
Yeah, I think he lost in the finals to that Iranian. What was his last name? Like Amuzad or something like that.
Think so.
Yeah,
because he beat. Who's the good Indian that he beat at Beat the Streets? I remember he beat like a world champ or like a world silver.
Bajrang.
Yeah. Punya?
Yeah, Punya.
Something like that. Yeah.
Alec Pantaleo, actually, looking at it, I think it was 2 years ago at the Open. He got upset first round by Jacob Butler.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oklahoma kid who ended up going to Rutgers, right?
Yeah, and I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him either. But yeah, that kid upset Pantaleo first round, and Pantaleo wrestled back like 8 matches and got third.
Yeah, he's
tough.
Dude, he's put together too. That guy is so swole. Talk about a frame at 70. I mean, he's short, but he is all of 70 kilograms. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you remember? Shoot, what MSU Open was this? I was in high school, and I think you wrestled Pantaleo and Lewan in the same day.
I think I'm 0-6 against those two. Like all together.
I remember you were wrestling Pantaleo, and I was like, hopefully Tucker can win, and then you lost. And then I didn't know who Will Lewan was, but I remember the crowd was pretty happy when he won. I do remember that.
When they beat me?
Yes.
At MSU Open? I never wrestled Pantaleo at MSU Open. I wrestled Will Lewan.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. I think my dad still brings up that match to this day.
I think you blew a lead.
No, I was up 1 or something like that, and I was circling, but I was my butt was to the center, and they called me for stalling with 8 seconds left, and then it pushed it to overtime, and he took me down in overtime. That's how he won.
Well, you know what the problem is? They need to legalize
it. Break the fourth wall real quick.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, I you know what? I always say it. Will Lewan might not be the most fun guy to watch, but he knows how to win.
I mean, as a fan, you want more excitement, but as a wrestler, you got to respect a guy that just knows how to manage a match and do it.
I talked to Chase. I think Chase was telling me he's in freestyle he's a little more exciting.
Okay.
like I guess I haven't like tuned in any of his matches. I know he's been going overseas and wrestling in those like ranking series and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess he lets it fly freestyle. That'd be I guess interesting to.
I think he's age level world champ back in the day. I think
I
like
think
cadet or junior or something.
I think you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we both picked Yanni. I will say Yanni over James Green. Although
Yeah.
Will Wan could definitely beat James Green in the semi.
All right, you want to move on?
Yeah, we can go ahead.
All
Want me to
right.
read these off?
Yeah, 74 kilos. Read 'em off.
Yeah, I think I lied earlier when I said 61 was the most exciting. I think this is the most exciting. Number one, you got David Carr, Iowa State, training there still. Mitchell Messenbrink is the two, training at Nittany Lion Wrestling Club still, obviously. Number three is Quincy Monday, training at New Jersey RTC, wrestled at Princeton back in the day. Jarrett Jaquez, hope I pronounced that right. Tiger Style Wrestling Club, still training at Missouri, where he wrestled in college. Peyton Hall, West Virginia guy, he's the 5 seed. You got the 6 seed, Terrell Barraclaw, training at Utah Valley, formerly Penn State, Utah Valley this past year. Number 7, Elroy Perkin, listed as Titan Mercury Wrestling Club. Number 8, Ed Scott, Wolfpack Wrestling Club, NC State guy. Yeah, what's your thoughts, man?
Well, obviously the highlight is 1 and 2, Carr and
Yep.
Messenbrink. They had a really really fun match 2 years ago in the NCAA finals. Carr came away with the win, and basically won it on the ride time, right?
Yeah, won it on the ride time. Not to get too much into that match, but I thought that they were letting the stall calls fly back to legalized stalling. Too much stalling, I thought. And like, I'm being actually serious. I thought they were calling stalling a little quick on Carr. Kind of let Messenberg get back into the match because at a point, Carr was kind of handling him like fully in the driver's seat, like you said, was riding him out. If I remember correct, kept Matt returning him, right?
Yeah, I think he rode him out for like 2.5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that's I mean that's something that won't be a factor here.
Yeah, yeah. Messenbrink, I think I don't want to say he's better at freestyle because he's really good at folk style too. But like, I mean, it's pretty even. Like in terms of like he, the Messenbrink that you see in folk style, you're gonna be seeing the same exact version in freestyle. Like he's just exciting. He pushes the pace, um, and he's slick. He's and I mean, obviously David Carr is very slick as well. So, but I don't think we're gonna be seeing like a finesse show. It's gonna be like fireworks.
Yes, yes. I think those two. Like a lot of times you see these like super household names are gonna wrestle. Oh, this super match is gonna happen. Then you watch it and it's like a 2-1, pretty boring match. Like you said, I don't think that's what'll happen with these two. I think you'll see probably multiple takedowns from both guys. In my opinion, if I had to predict, I think both of these guys clear shot to the finals. Quincy Monday in the semi for Messenbrink. I mean, he's going to be tough. You know who I'd like to see Messenbrink wrestle is Barraclaw. Maybe he's got like a feel thing for him and can keep it close. I don't know. Former partners, I assume. Former teammates at Penn State. But I think Messenbrink's the pick. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm a little biased just because I saw the car against Takatani and I was Matt's side for it. I mean, he just looked amazing. It also kind of seemed like he gamed it really well. Like his game plan with Takatani was awesome. Because Takatani has like that like very quick like low level ankle pick kind of shot, and David Carr was just moving backwards the whole time, so he was never able to like time it to where like Carr was stepping forward and he'd be able to hit it. That just like, and you could just tell that was just all game plan. So I'm guessing this, Carr is probably going to go into this match with a game plan, assuming he gets to the finals. Looking at the other names, yeah, Barraclaw stands out to me. Peyton Hall is also very good at freestyle. I think he was a U23 World Team member.
I think you're right.
Yeah. And Quincy Monday has been a household name for years now. So I'm excited to see him in the mix as well. But
back to you, like what you said about game planning. I feel like that Carr Messenbrink NCAA final was clearly game planned. Like, you know what I mean? Not to say that like Messenbrink was the better wrestler and Carr stole one, but I mean Messenbrink looked unstoppable that season. Everybody was like, "How do you beat this guy?" Seems like Carr sat down and probably was like, "We got to ride him." You know what I mean? He's so good on his feet. His pace is so high that we got to neutralize that with top and bottom. Like again, like I said, you can't really do that with Parterre as much. But maybe that's the thought. Maybe the thought is we can get on top of him, we can turn him. I don't know what the game plan is, but I think, like you said, they probably will game plan for Messenbrink heavily because you have to. You can't just go out there and let it fly against that guy.
No, I don't think anybody in the world can do that.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, you have to game plan for Messenbrink.
Except for Jordan Burroughs. Jordan Burroughs owns Mitchell Messenbrink. No, I'm kidding.
Team JB.
Oh, I am Team JB. I'll stand up now. Loud and proud.
Hey, I was there. I had to witness it in person, so.
Weren't you the guy that was telling JB to retire?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah, I thought so.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, so you know what? I'll take Carr, and you can take Messenbrink.
Okay. All right. I'm kind of mad about that, because I'll be honest, I want Carr to win. Like, I'm more of a Carr fan than I am Messenbrink. Now, I'm not a Messenbrink hater or anything, but I would prefer to see Carr win, but I think Messenbrink's going to get him.
All right. 79?
Let's get into it.
All right. Who reads it this time?
You, I believe.
Okay. All right. Evan Wick at the 1. Dean Hamidi at the 2. Kennedy Monday at the 3. Danny Bronigal at 4. Carson Karshla at 5. Simon Ruiz at 6. Ruiz, just All-American for Cornell. Mohammed McBride at 7. I believe he wrestled at Buffalo back in the day, right? Or West Virginia.
I was going to say, that's on you. That's not a name that I know.
All right, I'm going to look it up. I think he wrestled at West Virginia, and now he coaches at Buffalo or something like that.
Okay, I would believe you. I'm going to look up Elroy Perkin. I know that's a name that I've heard before, but I don't know his backstory. He was the 70 kilogram guy at the last weight, but I didn't mention where he was from or anything. Looks like he trains at Air Force. Shout out Elroy Perkin and the U.S. military. What do you got for McBride?
The 8 seed at that weight is Clayton Whiting, who's at Minnesota.
Yeah. I believe formerly at Mizzou.
Yeah. I believe so. All right. I think looking at it right now, Dean Hamidi is my favorite for this one.
Yep.
I just think he looked so good at NCAAs. And I think that being in Stillwater not only changed his game on the mat, but like mentally as well. Because like we had mentioned a few times, he was the guy who would get third place. You know, he would lose, he would get upset in a semi, and then he would wrestle and he would get third. Or he'd make the final and lose to Keegan O'Toole, or he'd lose the car, and, you know, all this stuff. The fact that he was able to make such a leap this year, I think he's going to have a hell of a tournament in Vegas this weekend.
I agree. First reaction is the weight's a little weaker, I would say, than compared to some of these other weights. I think if I was Chance Marstetler, I would be starting a diet, because I think 79's at like in our country is pretty wide open right now. Yeah. For at least until the Olympics. Some of these guys I'm sure will drop down to 74 and stuff like that for Olympic weights, obviously. But I would say the same. The midi would probably be my pick. But at the same time, Evan Wick's a 1 seed for a reason. Another guy, similar build to Hamidi, can match his length. Wick, I feel like, uses his length usually pretty well. Maybe can neutralize some of those picks from Hamidi and stuff like that. But I'm on the same boat with you. I think Hamidi's the pick. On a roll off NCAAs. I think you beat Keegan O'Toole. Like, you finally break through and beat one of those, you know, giants of the sport. I think that's a huge confidence boost. Committee's probably saying to himself, if I can beat Keegan O'Toole, I can definitely beat Evan Wick. So, Monday, Kennedy Monday, the 3 seed. Maybe not the college results of some of these other guys, or not like a household name, but he's pretty good, man. I think freestyle also favors him compared to folk style back in the day. But I think Committee will get past him in the semi and get past Wick in the final as well.
Okay, yeah. Kennedy Monday. I got to watch him wrestle at that same thing at the Flow event. He wrestled Nate Jackson, and it was exciting. It was an exciting match, but he ended up dropping the match. Just a quick update on Muhammad McBride. I did my research. He wrestled at Buffalo, and then he was the U23 representative back in like 2017.
Okay.
And it was like one of the ones I wrestled at. That's how I remember him.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he made the team, and he got to the bronze match at Worlds, and he ended up getting 5th.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Is this? Do you know his college results? Do you know if he AA'd or qualified or?
No. I don't.
Okay. No worries. We don't have to get too much into Muhammad McBride, but. Want to get into 86?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I think I lied for a third time. Maybe this is the most exciting. I don't know. Number 1, Kyle Dake, moving up from 74 kilograms, training at NLWC, former Cornell guy, obviously. Number 2, Zahid. He's a Cowboy now, moved over there from Arizona State, where he wrestled at college. Number 3, Chance Marstetler, training at New Jersey RTC. He's a guy who's beat Jordan Burroughs before. Obviously can't sleep on him. Number 4, Parker Keckeisen, training at UNI still. Kind of a casual for this, but I don't know if he's super well versed in freestyle. I don't know of his results, but it'll be exciting to see him enter this field. He's obviously a super capable guy. Number 5, Rocco Welsh, listed under KD Training Center, but obviously he's at Penn State now. Number 6, Marcus Coleman, training at Cyclone RTC out at Iowa State. Number 7, Braden Thompson, Cowboy RTC. Been a lot of talking to Braden Thompson this offseason. Be exciting to see him go put some results out there. People will have a reaction, I'm sure, whether he does good or bad. And then finally, you got number 8, Dylan Fishback, who's registered under Wolfpack RTC, which is interesting because he's currently in the portal.
Yeah, that is interesting. Maybe it's like if you sign up, you have to register. You have to wrestle under the name you registered under, or whatever.
Or maybe he registered a month ago or something. Yeah.
Right. That could definitely be it. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Zahid and Kyle Dake match. I really hope that they meet in the final. We haven't really seen Zahid since he made the move to Stillwater. We saw him wrestle Hidley at the Flow event.
I was going to say, yeah.
He looked great.
Yeah, he did.
Have we seen Kyle Dake at 86?
Yes. He almost beat Jaden Cox back in the day. He moved up because he was tired of having to go through the tournament just to wrestle Burroughs, who was waiting. And he went up to 86 kilograms and almost beat Jaden Cox, I believe. Off the top of my head, that's 2016-ish? Is that right?
It might be. I remember watching the 17 World Team Trials. And that was when Jaden Cox, didn't he, tweak his knee in the match against David Taylor, but still ended up winning?
Yes.
Jaden Cox, in, 2016 through, 2018, I think he was the best wrestler in the world.
You think Jaden Cox was?
Yeah.
He never won Worlds, correct?
No, I think he did. I think he
Did he?
Let me see. We're really looking.
No, you're right. You're right. He won a world title. I'm wrong.
He won 2.
Yeah, I'm dumb for saying that.
18 and 19.
Sorry, dude. I'm still trying to figure out when Jaden Cox and Kyle Snyder wrestled each other.
Wait, I'm
sorry, Kyle Dake. I apologize. Yes, that was 2016 Olympic trial finals. and
Oh,
it
really?
went to 3 matches. So he beat Jaden Cox in one of those matches.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously that's almost 10 years ago, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So we have seen him at 86 before, but it's obviously been a long time. That was also, like I said, 10 years ago. So that's like prime Kyle Dake, which you would say he's probably past his prime now. Not saying he's not capable anymore, but he's probably not at his peak. I think. I think. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, just a quick sidebar. Is there anywhere we can see like the full field?
Yeah. Flo has an entry list. I have it right here. I
I was
think.
just curious if Fish is there.
Well, I don't know. This says entries, but it's like only showing like 8 guys at weight. I don't see Fish in here, but this is an older article. This is 2 days ago, and Fish was not in.
Okay. All right, back to 86. Yeah, so you got obviously Chance is, like you said, somebody who has beaten Jordan Burroughs a few times. Um, so
Debatably.
yeah, and then so he is obviously a contender. Parker Keckeisen, like you said, I don't really know his like freestyle background. I would assume he's gonna make some noise regardless.
Definitely.
Rocco Welsh, who, like you said with Braden Thompson, like regardless of how he does, we're gonna hear something about it. I feel like Rocco Welsh is the same way.
Definitely.
Marcus Coleman, kind of a journeyman. You know, he's been around the block.
Mm-hmm.
Good wrestler. Braden Thompson, we touched on, and Fishback is very good as well. But yeah, the top two, Dake and Zahid, I'm really looking forward to that match.
It looks like Keckeisen was 3rd at Fargo twice. That's all I'm really seeing freestyle wise. This is an old article I'm on anyway, but like you said, not as well versed in freestyle maybe, but maybe this is his chance to jump on the scene. I mean, he's gonna if things go according to seed, he'll get Rocco Welsh in the quarter, which will be an exciting match. I would take Keckeisen. And then he'll get Dake in the semi, which I think is a super exciting match. I think somebody's knocking off Dake this weekend. I do. I don't know if I'm ready to say it's Keckeisen, but overall, give me Zahid. I think Zahid's going to beat Dake in the finals.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it for sure. So wait, Dake is on the same side as Parker. Okay.
And Zahid gets Chance in the semi, which I believe is a really bad matchup for Chance.
Yeah.
I think they've wrestled a couple times, and I don't think it's been very close.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which makes sense based on like their frames. I think, like I said, I think Chance is probably a 79 kilogram guy. Yeah. And Zahid is a big boy. I think he's all of 86. So.
Okay. All right, let's jump to 92.
Do it.
Trent Hidley at the 1. Michael Macchiavello at the 2. Macchiavello wrestled at NC State. And now he's training out at Lehigh Valley.
Yes.
Aiden Sinclair at the 3. He is currently...
Whoa, yeah. Are you seeing that too?
What the heck?
Yeah, what?
Nebraska?
That's got to be I bet that's a typo from Eric Schultz.
I think you're probably right.
Because Aiden Sinclair is from Wisconsin, so that wouldn't make sense either.
And he's at Mizzou right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got Eric Schultz at the 4. He wrestled at Nebraska. A couple time All-American, I believe. Dustin Plott at 5, who is coming off a pretty good season. We got Cameron Caffey at 6.
Who's that?
I'm not familiar with him.
Me either.
Yeah, Cameron Caffey wrestled with me and Crespo here at Michigan State. Great wrestler.
Great dude in general. I want to put that out there. Caffey's the man.
He is the man. I hope he can make a run this weekend. That'd be really cool.
I'm glad he's
Um,
still wrestling.
yeah, same. Um, Seth Shoemate at 7 and Gavin Nelson at 8. Shoemate is out of Ohio State, and it says here Gavin Nelson's at Minnesota RTC. Um, yeah, I gotta think Hidley is probably my favorite here, even with Sinclair. Sinclair's really good at freestyle. Um, not to look past Machiavello, but Hidley, he's just a goer. I mean, he pushed Yazdani into like a really good match last year at that, what was it, Last Chance or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, Headley probably in a tier of his own, I would say here. I would say clear favorite. Not to say that he couldn't lose, but I don't. None of these guys have the overseas results that Headley has. You know what I mean? I couldn't see any of these other guys pushing Yazdani. Um, he's probably the clear favorite. I feel like Dustin Plott seems a little underseeded. Like he could be a little higher. No. I mean, maybe it's just like a freestyle thing based on like he hasn't wrestled freestyle in a while, but I would favor him over Aiden Sinclair, I would think. Do you disagree?
No, I would. Yeah, I would probably take Sinclair in that matchup. To be honest with you,
Really? Okay.
I got to see Sinclair wrestle Barr last year.
Yeah. No, I watched it.
They went to 3 matches at the U23s, and Sinclair won the first one, I believe, and then Barr in the second match, like Sinclair was moments away from winning and being the guy in the U20, and Barr took him down with like it was short time.
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like, dang, he was this close, and then Barr ended up beating him in the third match. So that's like I mean, very comparable to a guy like Josh Barr. So
Well, I think then that was at the U20 World Team Trials, correct?
yeah, yeah,
I believe at last year's U.S. Open, Sinclair teched Barr.
he did.
Yeah, so obviously Barr's gotten better, clearly, based on those results, and it's hard to compare a year ago. But no, that is good perspective. Aiden Sinclair is legit, no doubt. Yeah, I mean Hidley is the clear favorite, and give me Hidley over Caffey in the final.
Okay. Yeah, let's not forget Cam won this tournament like 4 years ago.
Yeah, no, Caffey is way too good to never be an AA. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's definitely. Well, I think he definitely got screwed the year that got canceled. He was
Definitely.
brawling out that season. And
Big Ten runner-up, right?
yeah, lost in the finals to Aaron Brooks, and
Like close, correct? Like 2-0, maybe 3-0.
yeah, it was like 3-1, maybe something like that.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully, yeah, I'm gonna be cheering on Cam Caffey this weekend for sure. All right, let's jump to 97.
Yeah, I'll run through it. Number 1, Kyle Snyder, Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. I believe this is the first time he's wrestling at the U.S. Open in a long time, I would guess. Number 2, Jay Aiello from wrestled at Virginia in college, but he's at Penn RTC now. I did not know that. Number 3, big name, just transferred over to Iowa. I'm going to try to say this name right. Masoma Endine. He's a D3 kid. Won a couple national titles, maybe 3 national titles at Wartburg. He's registered under Wartburg, but he just announced that he's transferring to Iowa recently. He's going to be their 197 this year. Not to get back into college, try to stay on senior, but it'll be interesting to see if he can replicate those D3 results in D1. I think he's fully capable. He won Pan Ams recently. He's a 3 seed at the U.S. Open, so obviously this guy is legit. He's not your average D3 wrestler. But to move forward, number 4, this is surprising to me. Gary Traub, Gas Tank Gary. 1, he's training at Cowboy RTC, which I was not aware of. 2, at 97 kilograms? I thought he was a heavyweight, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, so maybe the gas tank's slimming down. Number 5, you got Gavin Hoffman, training out. It just says Pennsylvania, doesn't say an RTC. he was at Ohio State, and then I believe Lockhaven this last year.
Yep.
Ethan Laird, training out of DMV RTC. Ryder kid, I think.
Yep. All American for Ryder.
Okay, yeah. Christian Knopp, training out of Wolfpack RTC. Not familiar with him, but assuming an NC State guy. Probably current college, if I had to guess. And then the 8 seed, Mackay Smith, Sons of Atlas Wrestling Club. Not familiar with him as well.
Yeah, you can dive into your prediction. I'm going to look up Christian Knopp.
Sounds good. I think it's a pretty easy one. Kyle Snyder's favorite. Only guy here that's been a senior world team member. He's been our rep at 97 kilograms since he was 19 years old, I think. And that was 8-9 years ago. So he's been the guy, been around the block, obviously. J.I.L.O., a guy I think gets slept on a little bit. Some good freestyle results. He's a 2 seed. Like I said, you got Dean, Wartburg kid at Iowa now at the 3. That's exciting. Another guy that, however he does, whether he wins it or goes 0-2 this weekend, there's going to be some opinions on it for sure. People will have a reaction. And then, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Gary Traub getting down to 97 kilograms. Hope this is not a typo, and I'm not giving you guys bad information, but be interesting to see him wrestle Snyder in the semi. The other semi, you got ILO and Dean. It'd be interesting to see who gets through there if everything goes to seed. But my pick would be Snyder over Dean. I think Dean's gonna beat ILO this weekend if he sees him in the semi. And yeah, what do you think? What do you got on Christian Knopp?
I got him as a graduate wrestler from North Carolina State. Didn't look like he ever made the lineup, so I guess shouldn't.
I gotcha.
Much. And then Mackay Smith, is that the other name?
Yeah, Mahkyi.
Yeah, it looks like I'm getting a profile from Cal Baptist University. I'm also getting one from Utah Valley. So
okay,
yeah,
West Coast guy.
Yeah, seems like it. But yeah, in terms of the prediction, I think your breakdown on Masoma was pretty spot on. My dad had made mention, that he's definitely. I think he's more of a freestyler than he is a folk style. That's what he mentioned.
So I listened to his interview with Flo. He didn't start wrestling until his sophomore year of high school, and he's from Texas. I guess like one of his friends wrestled. He just decided to try it out. I think he said he qualified for state as a junior and then took like 5th or 6th as a senior in Texas. Went out to a JUCO in Iowa. I think he said his coach there had a connection at Wartburg and ended up at Wartburg, and basically here he is. So, I don't know. I mean, it seems like his ceiling could be even higher than it is right now if he's only been wrestling for, 6 years, give or take. Yeah. But it does seem like he's better at freestyle. He's made our world team last year, just won Pan Ams. He's exciting to watch. I'll say that. He lets it fly.
Yeah, definitely. And I think he's an attractive like storyline, especially with coming from D3, just transferred to Iowa. I'm not sure if he got a lot of training in Iowa City for this tournament, but because it like just happened 2 days ago or something.
Yeah, over the weekend or something.
So yeah, give me Snyder and Aiello in the final.
Okay.
Aiello looked really good the last time I saw him wrestle. I think he beat Marcus Coleman pretty handily the last time I watched him. But yeah, Kyle Snyder is, I think he's the clear favorite here.
Not to hang on 97 kilograms for too long. We can move on after this. But do you remember Aiello should have beat Gabe Dean? Or Max Dean, I'm sorry.
The tilt.
Yep. No near fall, right?
No near fall. Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's like something that only like true wrestling fans remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's always like at every NCAs there's like a controversial like remember when, or whatever
Yeah.
it is. But
Right.
all right, ready for heavy?
Yeah, I'll run through it. You got
Go.
Hayden Zilmer at the 1, Wyatt Hendrickson at the 2, coming off a huge win and wrestling out of Cowboy RTC. Trent Hilger at the 3. He's wrestling at Gopher Wrestling Club in Minnesota, but he wrestled at Wisconsin.
Yep.
4-time All-American, I believe. And Michigan native, correct?
Yes, he is a Michigan boy, like Fenton.
There you go. Nick Feldman at the 4, wrestles out of Ohio RTC, Ohio State kid. Jordan Wood at 5, who New York Athletic Club, but he was a Lehigh kid. Christian Lance at 6, Nebraska kid. Lucas Stoddard at 7. It says West Point, must be an Army kid. And then Demetrius Thomas at 8. It says Rhode Island. Not too familiar with him. I'll look it up. But if you want to jump into your prediction,
Demetrius Thomas, I believe, was Utah Valley. And I could be wrong, but I believe Demetrius Thomas wrestled at Boise State before they got cut.
That was a long time ago.
Or maybe that's Romero. I'm thinking of a different guy. I'm sorry. He wasn't a heavyweight. He was like a 74, 84, something like that. Yeah, I'll get the prediction while you look through these. Zilmer, the 1 seed. I didn't realize he was also training at Minnesota. Maybe I did know that and just forgot about it. But, I think right away you got to say Zilmer and Hilger are probably in the best heavyweight room in the country. When you add in Gable with those two, you add in Eggum, who's obviously a heavyweight coach. They have another guy in Minnesota that's been their heavyweight coach. I want to say his name's Brenevold, Trevor Brenevold, something like that.
I don't think he's there anymore.
Really?
I think he left. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, obviously great history at Minnesota with heavyweights. But then you got Hendrickson, who came off biggest win literally ever, maybe. He would be my pick, riding that wave from the college season. But Zilmer and Hilger are fully capable of beating him. So I don't think it would be the craziest thing ever if Hendrickson doesn't win this weekend. Which obviously people would have a huge reaction to if he doesn't. I don't know. It's interesting. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like we do this all the time as wrestling fans, Like we see a guy like Wyatt Hendrickson have a huge win. Huge being an understatement. The biggest win that has ever occurred in wrestling.
Yeah.
In American wrestling. And then we build up, and we put him on a pedestal, and then at the end of the day, he's still just a wrestler. He's just a competitor. Things happen. If he takes a loss to Hayden Zilmer, who's very good, these people on the Pat Mineo Wrestling Room Facebook page are gonna just rip him to shreds, and it's like, what are we doing?
I think a good example of that would be Matt Ramos from a couple years ago. I mean, he had arguably the biggest American win ever. I think after that, we put him up on a pedestal, and everybody's like, "Oh, Ramos is gonna run through it this next year," or even this season. People were picking him to win, and like you said, he's still just a wrestler. Anybody can beat anybody, I guess. If that doesn't, that win can be a huge confidence boost for Hendrickson, but he doesn't become superhuman after winning that match, like you said. But yeah, Ramos never won a national title after beating Spencer Lee, which is nothing to scoff at. I think he took 4th this past year. He obviously had a great career after beating Spencer Lee, but like you said, one big win doesn't necessarily make you into Gable Stevenson if you beat Gable Stevenson.
Right. That's a very good way of putting it, for sure. Yeah, not to say that 125 is boring or anything, but
no.
But yeah, give me. I'll still take Hendrickson in this one.
I think I will too. Yeah, give me Hendrickson.
All right. I think we're running a little long, so why don't we just do our degenerate gambling after we have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, sounds good. But yeah, so that's the full preview of the U.S. Open for this upcoming weekend. Men's freestyle senior level. There's going to be a lot of good stuff. So if you're just a casual wrestling fan, I would definitely recommend just tuning in to, I don't know who's showcasing it, Flow or whatever.
Yeah.
And just checking out, because I know that U20 has a lot of good stuff going on. That tournament's always really good. The women's side of the U.S. Open is always a good tournament as well. So, and the Greco too. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Crespo, do you have anything?
Yeah, like Tucker said, we only went over senior men's freestyle. Maybe do a recap after the Open and kind of go through some other weights or other divisions, I should say. U17, U20, and women's, that type of thing. Greco, but. Yeah, wanted to keep it short for you guys. Didn't talk a lot about like college or anything else today. Just kind of kept it to senior level. But appreciate you guys tuning in. I think I'm good, man.
All right, and it seems like that is a wrap. Episode 5 of the Legalize Stalling podcast. As always, subscribe, like, and have a good one.
See ya. Legalize Stalling.